Awesome. We're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Hello.
the Flourish podcast. I'm so excited to be here today with Hannah Finrow, which is one of our amazing Coach Training EDU trainers. I'm going to let her give a little bit of information about who she is and her coaching journey here in a second. But Hannah, I'm so excited to be doing this with you. I think you're amazing. And this is like a good, fun girl chat on the CTEDU podcast today. John will be back next week, but we have some fun topics to cover today. So Hannah, if you want to share like a little bit about who you are, what kind of coach you are, because it's really amazing, and what you're doing with your coaching business would be really cool.
Cool. Yeah. Well, so glad to be here. And thank you, Ashley. Always fun to hang out with you. I was like, of course I'll say yes. I'm going to hang out with Ashley, talk about coaching, 2 coaches and the community. What a great thing. So I'm Hannah Finrow. I'm coming to you from Nashville. I actually grew up in Washington State. I have 2 little boys, and like many of us, I fell in love with coaching, being coached. And first conversation, I was like, you have me. How do I become a coach? And it's something that I'm continuing. Like, I just can't think of my life without coaching and just being a coach. I've always been involved in like helping people learn and grow. And as a coach and mentor coach now, I just love to help coaches learn and grow. But what is kind of selfish too, because I get to learn and grow, and I'm constantly learning about myself. I am a master certified coach, which means I like to say that just means I love coaching a lot, and I poured myself into it and learning everything I can about it. And there's always more. There's always more for me to learn about me, about coaching, about all the different people I work with. I have really focused and found myself focusing on really partnering with coaches in my own private practice, as well as working with CTEDU. I've been expanding lately where I'm working with small business owners and seeing that so many people actually want to learn about coaching and coaching mindset and how it can benefit them. And I'm seeing a lot of connections between like our well-being and our coaching being. And I've really enjoyed bringing that together. So I'm on a journey just like all of us. And let's see, I think that's enough for now. I had 2 cups of coffee today. I usually drink it with a little bit of collagen, so that I'm like, oh, well, there's another health benefit, so I got to drink another cup. So that's me.
Cool, Hannah. See, Hannah is like one of the original CTED trainers. So how long have you been a trainer with Coach Training EDU?
Well, I was a student first, and then I officially started training with CTEDU in 2016. It was October 2016, and my first class I got to train was wellness. Yeah. So
cool. I love it. Okay, what is this is not my list, but as you're talking, I was thinking about it. What is one of your favorite tools to use?
Oh, you're gonna make me.
Or even train on, either or.
Oh, it's funny. It's like, I think it's a running joke among us trainers where we say, this is my favorite tool for every tool. Oh man, I really love the assumptions chart because it helps us see our patterns and change them and create a new pattern. I just have so many great memories with clients, and just the aha moments. You can see like their eyes light up when they realize, wow, like this isn't serving me, and I could choose differently. And it's so empowering. And that one can also lead to so many different conversations, but I love that one, and seeing the shift that happens just when people start to catch, oh, I'm thinking this way, so I'm seeing it this way, so I'm doing this, but I don't want to do that. I don't want things to turn out this way, and I can change it. And it's one that usually works pretty quickly. Sometimes even in the first cycle of it, they catch themselves, and it's exciting to see someone's eyes light up.
Yeah, that's super powerful.
Yeah.
If you're in the coaching program and you haven't gotten to the assumptions chart yet, or if you're not in coaching and you're like, what is this? Like, it's so exciting. What week is that?
Ooh. I want to say 15.
Yeah, it's a little farther. You're a little past
13, 14, 15, something around there.
Yeah.
It's midway through. It's midway through after you have a foundation.
It's so fun in power hours because, you know, we have alumni, we have current coaches, we have some coaches that like literally just started. I love seeing when coaches jump into a power hour when it's just their like second week in the program. I'm like, yes, bring on the courage and like getting into it. And but it's fun to see coaches using the tools, and then like some of the coaches that haven't gotten there yet, they're like, what was that? That was amazing. And like, you know, they get to experience it really fully as a client because they haven't yet learned it. And so it's really fun. So little plug for Power Hour. If you're a coach and trainer and alumni, come to Power Hours. They're amazing. And I would love to hang out with you and them. Okay, so first question is about like the entrepreneurial mindset. So how has the entrepreneurial mindset guided your coaching practice growth? I thought this was really fitting for you because you've been a coach for so long and you do have your own business on the side of Coach Training EDU. So how has that entrepreneurial mindset benefited you?
You know, it's a really good question because honestly, like I don't think that I can have an entrepreneur mindset without a coaching mindset. Like to me, like they have to be together. Because there's a lot of ups and downs. It's something that you're creating, you're building. And I think a lot of times, you know, we can feel ourselves hitting a lot of walls or like coming up to roadblocks and just things coming up personally, because it is such a personal journey building a business. And it's I think even more personal, I know for me, because it's like I feel like this was already who I was when I found coaching. And so I found that just that entrepreneurial mindset, yes, but with the coaching mindset of like coaching myself in those difficult moments of like, all right, what decision do I need to make? Or what boundaries do I need to put in place? Because when you're an entrepreneur, it feels like you're never off. You're always on. And it's not like you're working, it's like you're being, which again, that's why I think it's so helpful to couple with the coaching mindset.
Yeah, that's really good. How do you do that on like a daily basis?
Oh,
So
balance
what
it.
does that check-in look like, you know?
Yeah. Well, actually something that I've been doing and getting back to is doing morning pages, because I find that just that space mimics coaching space, which those of you that know me and you were surprised I didn't say pause as my favorite tool, is because I don't think pause is a tool. I think it's a way of being. But just that is a big part. And I'm finding I need more space to process. I find that I'm also like weekly being coached. It's really important, no matter what level of coach you are, you need space to process and answer your own questions and have someone sit with you. I'll never forget actually my first coaching session with someone coaching me, and she says, Hannah, what do you want? And didn't say anything, and I couldn't call anyone, and I couldn't, she was just waiting for me to answer. And I think we need to show up and wait for ourselves to answer. And so that's why I really like morning pages, like, all right, showing up, see what comes out and go from there. I think a lot of times too, it's asking myself questions. What is the most important thing to do? What do I believe about this person I'm walking into this session with? What do I want to be able to say about the end of my day? I'm also a busy mom and I love being intentional with my kids. So I'm also, okay, how is this honoring this value? And so I'm constantly thinking about that too. I find that I also, I practice I have a gratitude practice that I actually started in 2.0 that I do every day. And I used to live in Pacific Northwest where I could see the Cascade Mountains, but I have a gratitude practice where I just think of mountains and imagine being at the top, and just that feeling of like, wow, I just play a small role in this big world, and there's this awe and gratitude that I get to do this work. And so that is a really big thing for me, because I don't take it lightly. I mean, some of my backstory is I almost died right before I became a coach in an emergency surgery and a whole whirlwind of that. But gratitude is essential for me. And, it's not that I'm choosing to be an entrepreneur, but I get to do this work. And that just, keeps me from being in that rut of, because I'm more about the people than like all the paperwork, but that gives me the energy for the paperwork because it's for the people.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, it's amazing what gratitude does.
Yeah.
When you're talking about the morning pages, can you tell like people listening a little bit more like what are morning pages?
Yeah, so morning pages are from the book The Artist's Way. You're showing up and you're dating your creativity, and and you are committing to write 5 pages. You get it out, you don't judge it. And what you find is that you start kind of reconnecting with you. And I know I do a lot of writing for other people, other things. And like, okay, this is just for me. Actually, in a coaching session the other day, I realized I wanted like other pens for it. And there's just something about the process of like putting pen to paper and just like being with it and just seeing what shows up with curiosity. But it is just showing up and writing every morning, 5 pages. And it could be as simple as like, I see death bunnies or this is what I'm thinking about, or this is what I dreamed about, or, oh, wait, that kid dropped breakfast again. Like, I mean, it's just anything that you want to process through and get out, but without judging it. So yeah, I've done it before, and I'm just redoing it again and just really committing to the journey because it is such a helpful place to show up and just see what comes up.
That's cool. That's very, very cool. What is like a piece of advice that you would give somebody who's on the journey of starting their own coaching business right now?
Yeah, well, I think that the best way to start working on your coaching business is work on you, work on your coaching, and then work on your business. So first, who are you? Who do you want to be? I think that it's so important to have alignment. It's not that you have to change who you are to have a coaching business, but you need to honor who you are and be in alignment with that. And so I think just processing through values, future self, different things like that. So take the journey of coach training essentially, but bring up those things and work on those things. And then your coaching skills. There's coaching sells coaching. I've been in coaching. So it'll be a decade officially next year. But before that, I was, learning everything I could on my own before I officially started any coach training. And I was a client for 3 years. But just working on your coaching skills and being confident in that and like being able to trust the process, trust the client, you're going to have this confidence in yourself that you can't have apart from trusting the process and trusting the client. So you need practice. You need to work on your coaching, get feedback on your coaching. And then think about the business is like, it's you plus all your coaching skills and abilities, all the tools you've learned, and then you're putting it out there in the world. But do you really want to put something out there that isn't something you're confident in, that you trust? And you need to trust who you are. And so when you put those together, then that's the best place to start. And I know a big thing too is boundaries with a business, and just knowing like, yes, you might be bringing you into it, but you are still not what you do. Like, and so still having that, that's why I think another reason why it's like so important just to remember who you are. Because I know for a time when I was a new coach, so like I said, it's like feels so much part of who I am already, but my business, it needs to be separate so I can make business decisions. And it's just important to keep that in mind.
That's really good. I think all of that is awesome. I kind of mentioned this before, like last year, this for a coach to, I'm talking about knowing who they are and understanding like their worth and their value as a coach and what they bring uniquely as a coach themselves. And it can be so easy to get into this comparison. We do that everywhere, right? But it's also very like, it's at our fingertips with social media, all these things. So we see all these coaches doing these things, and it can be so easy to try to replicate what somebody else is doing. And there might be things where we don't need to reinvent the wheel, and it could be great. We could see something and someone would be like, whoa, that does resonate with me. but also like really taking into consideration, like, what do you uniquely offer as a coach and as a person? And if it's on the same, it's in the same niche or with as somebody else, that's okay. There's not a competition. Like, be you and do you in it, and you will attract the right clients. And so being authentic in your coaching is going to be really important. It's going to help propel the coaching business because people will be drawn to that authenticity and that confidence of you knowing yourself as a coach. And so I think, like, we were talking about, like, being curious about yourself as a coach and asking yourself these questions and having your own coach. So those things, like, are really, really important in us being on that journey of discovery. And as a coach, like, that's never ending for us too. Like, there's always growing and learning, and there might be some evolution in the kind of coaching that we do and who we are as a coach or what we bring to it. And so to constantly be curious so that we can continuously show up as our most authentic self as a coach with others. So I love that, Hannah. It's super cool. And I think it's just, there's so many people who need what you're doing, like, that need what coaches are doing. And there will be people that will resonate and will connect. And we need coaches. And there's, like, so many people in the world that need a coach, that there's not a competition or a lack of people or opportunities out there. There is a ton of opportunities. So yeah, I'm going to go on a whole tangent there, so I'm going to stop myself.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of, like, finding your unique process, a really cool exercise that people can do that's it's kind of funny to start with, but it really does work. So think about, if I was going to tell you to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like, it's pretty straightforward. Oh, grab the peanut butter, grab the jelly, grab the bread, put it together, eat it. Like, that's, we don't take into account all the pieces. So when you think about your coaching process, imagine you are teaching an alien how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You're going to think, like, oh, you have to turn the jar this way. You're going to grab this certain, like, metal thing that looks like a butter knife. You're going to stick it in the jar. You're going to, like, lift it up. You're going to, open the bread and unwrap the wrap. I mean, there's so many different steps we don't take up because we're in the process. So step out of the process, and how would you like explain detail by detail to someone, and you'll find what you're already doing that's unique that you might not even see yet.
That's really good. I remember doing that activity in elementary school. Now you mentioned it. Like, mine was teaching somebody how to, like, make brownies. And we had to, like, do the instructions, and then we would bring, like, everything to class, and then somebody in class, we'd have to, like, read the directions to them and have them do it. And we'd see, like, the gaps and stuff like that. And I remember it being so funny. But also, like, I love that. I haven't even thought about that since. And I think that's really a cool way of looking at it. So thanks, Hannah, for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of the personal challenges you've overcome in developing your entrepreneurial mindset?
Yeah, I think I alluded to this earlier, but just boundaries. I think that so often we can have not a business mindset, entrepreneurial mindset, as it can be really personal. And I think it's just important to be mindful and to honor that. And that's why we need space to process some of the things so we can have more of an entrepreneurial mindset. Because I know, especially in my early years, like, I feel like I held myself back a lot, just because not that I didn't ask for help, but it's just that I was blurring, like, personal and business too much. And so it's not that there can't be the connections or values aligned between our personal and our business, but I think it's important to think of it as, something you're building outside of you, not in you, although it can feel very inside of you. You need to separate it so you can look at it from all angles and make decisions. And a challenge for me was definitely boundaries. Like, I would actually shared with the class earlier today, like, one of my challenges was I would give away, like, my lunch break to a client who had canceled, and then I was burning myself out. And burnout is not your friend when you're an entrepreneur. It is not. I mean, in any sense, it's not your friend. But I thought I was making a good business decision, but really was just trying to please them and having a good boundary.
That's so good. That boundaries too make me think of just like we need to be filling ourselves up to be able to pour out. I mean, that's like just such a simple thing, but it's pretty profound. And I can, there's times where I can look back and be like, ooh, I was operating out of like little to no fumes there. Yeah. And I wasn't showing up as my best self, or, or trying, I had to try really hard to be able to give or to be able to show up. But when I'm pouring into myself, and that could be my morning routine, like what am I doing to like that, your journaling you're talking about, or like reading, or what are the things that are challenging and stretching me that are like and get me excited? What am I passionate about right now? Spending time in community and friends, so not letting work, take over that piece too, making sure that you still have the relational piece that's like a give and take, and being with people and laughter and having fun and playing, all of those kinds of things actually help you show up as a better coach too. So like, it's not just, it's cool because it's like, it's your coaching business and the learning and growing in that. And then all the other, it's like the wheel of life. All of the pieces connect together and overflow into one another in really, really sweet ways.
Yeah. Yeah. I really like what Fred Kaufman says about work-life balance. And he says, like, there's no such thing, because if you're working, you're not living. So there is no work-life balance. And there's, like work-life harmony, integration, alignment, things like that. But that's definitely what I've taken, because so I'm not trying to balance them. I want to live and be me, but it's in different ways, right? I want to be able to laugh and like, here's a really cheesy joke and here's a really powerful serious question. I'm going to hold space, and I'm not going to crack a joke. Well, just having space to honor those different parts of you. And it doesn't mean you can't bring your whole self to coaching, but just definitely just allowing yourself to live when you're working, or when you're with friends or community or with your kids. For me,
yeah, that's awesome. That's super cool. Actually, one of the questions was, how can we change our morning inner narrative to set up for a successful day?
It was just meant to be today. Yeah. Well, first, what is your morning narrative? Before we change what's there, we need to see what's there. So what is it? What are you telling yourself? It's a good place to get it on paper, or talk to a coach, or just talk to your partner, friend, whatever. Just get it out. Like, what is that inner dialogue right now? And I think a lot of times we don't even ask ourselves, what do I want it to be? And just remember, it's a practice. A routine is a practice. And so think about, even if it doesn't change right away, it's something you want to choose to practice. So what do you want it to be? And then start practicing it.
Yeah, that's really good. It also makes me think of gratitude. And if you're not sure where to start, what you want it to be, start with gratitude. Start with thinking about the things in your life that you are excited for and you're grateful for. And it could be just like, there's oftentimes my gratitude journal says, I'm grateful for coffee and oat vanilla creamer. Just a simple, small thing. So you can start with anything. I would suggest writing at least 3 things that you're grateful for every day, and kind of working from there. And then you'll start to pay attention to the smaller little things in the day and incorporate that joy into your day. And I think that can help formulate what you want that narrative to be as well. Because, gratitude and joy shift so much within ourselves. And so when we start to really take time to acknowledge and let those parts take root in us, and not just be fleeting things that we see, and but really a deep acknowledgement, it can help shift that narrative, or help create that narrative that we want to have for the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I also am a really big fan of a to-be list. So not oftentimes we're in our morning, we're thinking about everything you need to do, people you're meeting with, all the to-dos. So purposely practice not writing your to-do list. Maybe you find a better time to write it than your morning and write a to-be list. Who do you want to be? I know our CTEDU model is learn, be, do. And oftentimes, gratitude, very much connected to being and how we show up, but also just looking at like, who do I want to be by the end of the day? What do I want to say about how I showed up in my sessions, how I showed up with my kids, how I showed up in the line at the post office, just those little things, because then that changes what we do. And so if you look at who do I want to be first, then it's going to make there's going to be more flow into what you need to do. Because the reality is we have things we need to do, but oftentimes our inner dialogue is, we don't have time for that. This is going to go wrong. Oh, they're going to show up not knowing their agenda again. But if you look at who you're going to be, how are you going to respond? It's going to change the energy of your day.
Yeah, that's really good. It makes me think like it would be cool at night to do like a learn, be, do journal by yourself of like, what did I learn about myself today? Or what did I even learn in general? Was there something like even a knowledge-based thing that was a cool learning? Who was I today? How did I show up in these different areas of my life? Who do I want to be tomorrow? Like, how do I want to grow from what I experienced today? And like, what do I want to do tomorrow that maybe I wasn't able to get done today? Or like, what did today inspire for me to do tomorrow? That could be kind of cool. I've never done something like that, but I'm like, maybe I need to start doing that. That's nice.
Yeah. Hey, CTU can come out with a little PDF coaches can print,
Yeah.
Journal.
I know we used to have like the, oh man,
the habit tracker.
Yes, the 5 habit tracker. Tracker.
Habits in.
Track your habits here. But I remember when that came out, because that came out, I think in 2015 or 16.
Yeah, I remember we got them at the conference. Were you with us? I don't know if you were.
I came for a day of that conference. Yeah. So we probably met then. That's weird.
That's before you worked for CTEDU, right?
Right. Yeah, I had just done the program. Yeah, everyone. So, we're hopeful to have a CTEDU conference at some point. We've been talking about it for a while. It would be so fun to get everyone together and for people to get to meet each other. I was just connecting with some coaches recently. One of them, she's coming from Europe to the States this summer, and she's going to be staying with a couple of the coaches that were in her in her class.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. A little bit. Yeah. And so it's really, really neat. I would encourage you, if you're in your classes and you haven't already, like, connect with the coaches in your community in the class, like outside of class, and get to know them. They're just like fabulous, fabulous humans in our programs. And there's opportunity for a really strong network, and also just support and encouragement and challenge. And like the practicing that Hannah's talking about, like becoming confident as a coach and growing in your coaching ability. Like, there's so many people in our community that want to connect and grow and practice with each other. So that's a really great opportunity for that too. Yeah. Well, we're at our time. This went by so fast, Hannah. Thank you so much for sharing some of your wisdom and knowledge and heart with the community and with me today. I learned so much just listening to you, and I was like, man, I gotta just digest some of these things you're saying because it's good. But thank you so much for being here. And everybody else, we'll see you next week. John and Raj should be back. So thank you for joining us today, and I hope you have a really beautiful week.
Yep, thank you, everyone.
Bye. Take care. Bye.